Oh, good morning out there. Let's make sure that we're good to go. Come on now. Come on. Trying to get my video to refresh here so I can record stuff. Come on. Come on. Come on. Make sure we're broadcasting so I can properly record stuff. Okay, we're good. All right. So, here we go. Good morning. My name is Ryan. Welcome to Coffee and Resales. I get stuff from yard sales, garage sales, thrift stores, and similar places. Try to make a few extra bucks online. This morning, not a really bread and butter this morning. Not a lot of things that blew up. Sort of a slow weekend sales wise. Last week was really pretty good. Actually, last month, the month of August was probably my best month in a long time. Net sales, I actually exceeded kind of what my goal is. My goal is $300 to $500 net put in my pocket a month. I hit about $700 to $800 off of eBay by itself, and a few extra bucks with some Facebook sales and that sort of thing. So August was a really good month for me. I found some good stuff, and I sold a lot of stuff too. So this month starting off pretty average, which is fine. And we'll jump into that. I got a couple of finds that I don't think that I've shown, and sales that will jump into rat meow. Anyway, okay. Starting off, vintage children's books. This is, what's that? The Fireside Book of Children's Songs. This rings a couple of bells. That's worth looking at. Is older children's music and older children's books. This is like from the 50s or something. And it's music. So, older children's music books, look them up. This went for $13, so picked it up for $1 probably. And I don't think this book ever had a dust jacket. So, that if the tip on buying books, a book without a dust jacket that had one is probably worth 10 to 20% of what it should be, unless there's something really particular about it. So I almost never grab books that don't have dust jackets because they're just not worth it, typically speaking. So anyway, this one, $13. So I look up every book 1950s and before that I find. I typically grab almost every book that's pre-World War II for $1 or cheaper without even bothering, because I know I can probably flip those for, at least in lots. I actually need to build a lot probably and flip it, but otherwise they're worth grabbing. So next up, when I got last week, that was happy to snag, Ferrari book. Ferrari 250 GT SWB. This is an older Ferrari book from maybe the 80s, late 70s, early 80s. Barcode on it, so probably 80s. Sort of a unique car. Publisher is Osprey, which does a lot of vehicle books. I think Osprey. I've seen Osprey do a lot of military aircraft books, but they do a lot of transportation stuff. And it's a publisher that's worth grabbing, almost without bothering sometimes, if you can get the book cheap. So anyway, it's a book about Ferrari 250 GT SWB, and pretty cool car too. But it's like all tech spec stuff. It's not just pick photos and things, but I think there's a lot of technical data in here, including also the history of the car and that sort of thing. So, Osprey, I think one of the appeals of this book is, one, there's not many books out there about this car, and two, it's a publisher who does really, really good work with the books they put out. So, and it's out of print. So, $20 for that one. Finally, sale-wise, homeschool stuff. This is like the last batch of, and I actually got some more at the house I think I need to bring. But this is all Memorial Press curriculum. This stack here, about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or so books. This one for $40. This is current edition, or real close to current edition stuff that was completely unused. We didn't have a use for it, so flipped it, got a little bit of my money back on that sort of thing. So happy to get that out the door. All right, finds. Couple fun finds. Nothing to blow the doors open, but stuff I need to get listed. Both of these are military history, which is a genre that's worth looking at. The more detailed or the more non-coffee table pop culture stuff that the book is, the more likely it's worth something. It's a book on a steel horse I ride about Pavlo helicopters by, I think it's by a general or ex-general, lieutenant general, I think ex-military person. I think I looked this up. This one, there's not many copies on sale. I think it's like one of those things that's going to go $20 to $30. So look at the size of that thing. So again, military history, specific vehicles, specific things. Battles and stuff tend to be a toss-up sometimes about as to whether or not, or your general histories don't tend. The more specific the history, the higher the value it potentially has. So something to think about there. And this one is another similar, infantry in battle. This is almost this is a little bit older book, and this is owned by a Marine. By Infantry Journal, and this is actually a reprint. This is a reprint of a 1939 book. This is done in the 80s, but this had some pretty good value to it too. If I remember right, this is like another $20 to $30 book, maybe more. Good dust jacket, good binding. This one's in good shape. Somebody, I think, donated a bunch of military stuff to the local Goodwill, and I've been picking through it and trying to find some of the good stuff out of it. So it's one of those that it's almost like it's a home run, or it's not worth much at all. If the books make it to the last chance, there's a lot of books that I may grab. There's a lot of Time Life ones, and a lot of those I'm not paying $2 a piece for, but they may be worth grabbing at 50 cents a piece or less, and so that may be something I'm getting. Finally, loved this find. Not worth as much as you think it might ought to be, but these are really cool. The works of Alexandre Dumas, and the date on these is, let's see, the gifted date here, 1896, and I think the copyright date, that may be missing a page. The copyright date 1893. I've got 4 of these books. They're part of a set. There, handle it gently, and the gilding is kind of rubbed off on them or faded away. This is actually a part of a bigger set that's a bunch of books. But man, these were pretty pre-1900s books. I'm almost I've got the set of 4 of these I put up for 50. I'm almost convinced that any book pre about 1920, 1930 that's in decent shape is like worth $10 minimum. So that's what I'm hoping is you find a decent collector out there who's wanting these, look really pretty on a shelf. They would look better if they still had the golden stuff on them. But those were fun find for late 1800s books in good shape. The binding on them is really good. Really, the only problem is that some of the fading on the covers. The covers are in really excellent condition. The binding's really good. The pages aren't torn or anything like that, so they're in really good condition. So that is everything this morning, and get some stuff boxed up. Don't know how active I'm going to be this week because I got some work in at my real job that needs to be handled, and I'm the only guy who can do it. And so not a lot going on for the rest of its time, and so we'll get on. Like, comment, subscribe, leave a question, leave a comment. Willing to help answer stuff. Whenever I broadcast usually first thing Monday, if you can make it, and I'm always open to answer questions, respond to snide remarks with further snide remarks, or something along those lines. So anyway,